Hello, I love you, vaingloriously wonderful people. This is the Dinka Jester Racecar, and I'm about to find out if it'll off-road. This is actually not even voted for this week, but there's a reason that I've chosen it, and I will tell you why in just a moment. But you can vote for the vehicles that you want to see featured in upcoming Will It Off-Road by clicking on the link in the description down below. And also, while you're at it, that card that just popped up on your screen, go click that. You may remember last week, I, was in the April Fool's Day spirit and posted my Will It Off-Road on foot video. I'm standing by the fact that that's going to be the only time I go up Mount Chiliad on foot. However, my buddy Wolfa, aka Magnum, aka at the moment, off the top of my head, I can't remember what his YouTube channel name is, but he actually recorded it and uploaded it of him in story mode as Michael running up and back down the mountain and doing a damage descent. So, all on foot, by the way. Yeah, all on foot, 100% on foot. So if you really want to go watch somebody run up and down this mountain, then there's your video. Go check it out. So, why am I doing the Jester Racecar if it didn't get any votes? Well, I think I made an error in the voting list. I still had the Dinka Jester, and I cannot talk again as usual. I had the Dinka Jester listed as something you could vote for. When that was done a long time ago, like in the 7th video for Will It Off-Road I ever started, so like 2 years ago now. So that had been done, and I thought, well, I don't have the race car listed, or at least I don't think I have the race car listed in the voting, and so I thought, well, we'll do this instead because of what the second most voted for vehicle was this week. And I thought it'd be kind of cool to have, when you already know by the thumbnail and the title, it's the Jester Classic. I thought it'd be kind of fun to have the new versus old Jester. Then I was like, oh yeah, I already did the old Jester, or the new Jester, which is the old Jester, which is hard to keep straight because the regular Jester is the oldest car to be added to the game. The Jester Classic is the old version of, anyways. But that's why we're looking at the Jester Racecar, which is a car I actually really like. I used to race in this car all the time. I've had this car since back in my Xbox 360 days, by the way. Same one. I'm pretty sure it's the same one. It is the same one. Never got rid of it. The only thing I've changed since then, you can see it still has the B72 Mo plate. It used to have yellow wheels, now it has white. But I love the car, but it oversteers really bad, so it can be tough to get around corners. But the all-wheel drive that causes it oversteer causes it to be pretty good off-road for the most part. Of course, I went way too much forgetting that this thing has some acceleration, and it's up 2 minutes 50 seconds. So will it off-road? It will, and I feel we could have gotten a better time if I would have remembered just exactly how bad that oversteer is from the all-wheel drive on this car. And I could have gotten around some of the corners a little bit better. But it's still good enough for fourth in sports. Which to compare to the regular Jester in video number 7, way back in the day, 14 seconds faster. Which kind of surprised me, but there it is. I mean, I know it's faster in racing situations than the regular Jester as well. But I didn't know it'd be that much faster going up this mountain. Then again, I think I've also gotten better at driving up and down the mountain, so that could be part of it. Remember, this isn't a scientific test. This is just let's look at a test. However, it does have terrible off-road traction loss. You can see it. And I really think there must be 2 different tiers, and I could be totally wrong about this. And if you want to argue it, that's fine. Go do it. But I really think that this trail here in the middle, since it's marked on the map as a quasi-road, like a D road, that it's not as bad, because you'll notice anytime I go anywhere slightly off the trail, like over to the side where the dirt shifts colors, or especially if there's any brush or anything, the car goes a lot slower. Like it's almost as if I've hit the brakes. You're just there. You can see it. It bogs down tremendously. There is Commander Hobo making a late appearance in the support truck because, well, let's just say he encountered issues, much as I'm encountering now, on his initial climb up and wanted to go get his baller fixed before it appeared in the video. By the way, while I'm thinking of it, today is my buddy Non-Credit Rocket's 18th birthday. So if you're a member of our Discord, and even if you're not, go join our Discord, and please send a message to my buddy Rocket in Discord and wish him a very happy birthday. And also, because he's now 18, if you're also above the age of 18, tell him send dudes, because he's been making that joke for years. Anyway, yeah, happy birthday, Rocket. I mean, you're my bro. We fight and argue just like brothers, but at the end of the day, you're my bro. So the Jester, you can see, has a couple issues there in the dirt. I was giving it too much gas and wound up spinning it out. And then I was fighting the oversteer to get around the corners. What are you going to do? It's still a fun car to drive. I love this car. I miss racing this car. I wish it was still super competitive in the sports class, because I was good with this car. 2 minutes, 46 seconds is our time to get down Mount Chiliad. Let's go back to the top of Mount Chiliad and see what we can do for a damage descent. This car has been in the game for a while, but it is a DLC car. So it doesn't have the best damage models, but it is slightly better than some of the others. Though strangely enough, it doesn't even have as good a damage model as the next Jester we're going to look at, though it may have been just for the amount of damage that car took too. This one is kind of skating around pretty well and avoiding any major impacts, like the really hard ones that just take your health from you. Whereas the Jester Classic is going to have some really nasty hits, like really bad. Anyways, if you heard my phone go off a few minutes ago it was my buddy Rocket messaging me, by the way. So yeah, I'm Grimly Rocket. I have no idea what happened to Commander Hobo at this point. I think he was having issues with being stuck on his roof. He discovered, like many of us have, that the Baller isn't really the best off-roader, honestly. It's a little too bouncy, a little too roly-poly. I guess that's one way to get through that tunnel. And didn't really enjoy it. Of course, this isn't the best off-roader either. I mean, it's a race car. Even if it wasn't in the race livery, it's a sports car. And I don't know if you just heard that since I was running my face hole, but the engine's damaged. I was hoping it would do it again, but I let off the throttle before I stopped talking. Yeah, definite engine rattle going on, and not a small one either. So it has taken engine damage, which is surprising. This has 100% armor. Go ahead, reach out, close the door. There you go. And we're down 1 minute, 45 seconds. Let's take a look at the damage on the Jester Racecar. Most of the windows are gone. The headlights are busted, but surprisingly, all the taillights fine. The doors won't close, has bent wheels slightly, and engine damage. And of course, as usual, we will take a peek over at Commander Hobo's support truck and see how it fared in its own damage descent as well. And let's say it looks a lot worse than the Jester. But that brings us to our next vehicle, and you already know that it's the Dinka Jester Classic. This came in with 44 votes. By the way, the regular Jester had 46 votes. So that's why, since they were so close, there is one car, the Fiore GT, that had like 50-something votes, but I went ahead and bumped it just so we could do like a Jester type thing. I thought that would be kind of cool. But, so, this car doesn't like bumps very much, and that's a problem because, well, we're off-road. And that's going to be what slows it down. Though it doesn't get a bad time. I mean, I already know what the times are when I start recording the voiceover. It does fairly well. My thing is, I don't drive it that often. Yeah, it's one of those cars that came out after I had stopped playing GTA for like a couple hours every day. And so, yeah, it's not something I have a whole lot of experience in, and so I was a little conservative on the throttle until I got about halfway up the mountain just to see how it would handle the bumps, how it handled dirt, and where its traction was. Because I don't think I've ever taken it off-road, not once, before I recorded this video. So it might have been able to get a slightly better time, but I don't think by much. There's not any major incidents, if I remember correctly. It is a great little car to drive, though. I mean, I like driving it. It looks fantastic. I don't think it should be called a Jester because obviously, you know, it's not the old style NSX at all. But whatever. It's Rockstar. They'll do what they want with their names. I think that was about the only incident I had right there was going up on that wall. I managed to carry a lot of speed around one really tight turn, surprisingly. Of course, this is a really small car. It's rear-wheel drive. So you can get that back end to flick out just a little bit. Not drifting. Drifting makes you go slower. Not handbrake turning. Handbrake turning makes you go slower. I think it's this one here where I'm actually able to kind of flick it around a little bit. But then it went up on two wheels. I remember there was something about it that I got around with more speed than I usually get, but something else happened. But really, it's doing fine off-road. I mean, it's nothing to get terribly excited about. I mean, it does break the 3-minute mark, which is amazing. You can tell it's going to because there's the top. We have a minute left, so, you know, not a big deal. There was the incident I was thinking of right there. For some reason, it just stopped dead on those fences, so whatever. By the way, sorry I failed to mention the comments as this started, but I hadn't put them in yet at the time I recorded the voiceover, so I just kind of forgot. I didn't really do that. They'll be in when you actually watch the video, but yeah, it was all the comments from my April Fool's videos last week. Not just one, but several. And again, another little incident. I think overall, I probably could have cut maybe 3-4 seconds off. Because of that incident back there, I lost a lot of momentum. And since it's his rear-wheel drive, I struggled to find where it would get gripped. You can hear me on and off the throttle, just trying to find that sweet spot. But it's finally up. 2 minutes, 54, basically 55 seconds. Will it off-road? Yeah, and that's actually good enough to make it 8th out of the sports cars. Comes in just after the Kuruma, the regular Kuruma. Just about 0.2 of a second slower. And you remember the Kuruma doesn't have traction loss off-road, so that's not bad. So, you know, I'll take it. It also beat out the Omnis, or Omni, however you like to say it. Oh, thanks, Commander. Thanks for landing on me and your Toyota/Ford. There's a lot of debate about what that car actually is. A lot of people think it's more like a Toyota Tundra than a Ford Raptor. I don't know. I don't really care. It's a pickup truck in the game, and we don't have enough of those. So, well, sorry if you hear my chair squeaking. I need a new chair. Hey, and speaking of needing a new chair, go support me on Patreon. Yeah. You can, and I would love that. That would be awesome. I genuinely appreciate the support I do get from the three fellas who continue to support me month after month. I genuinely appreciate it. And I don't do enough to thank them for their support either. I need to get on top of that. Ooh, getting on top of things. I need to be on top of the mountain, and it fell off. My segues are getting vertical, aren't they? However, watch this. Despite the fact that it's wanting to crawl sideways, this is kind of impressive, especially on these rocks. There we go. That was easy. I thought it was going to be a pain. I really thought I was in trouble there. And no, it just drove right back up. Despite it being really steep, despite it being really slippery, the wheels were spinning the entire time, but somehow... Oh, Commander nearly ran into me. He made comment that he's got to remember that he's in a big, heavy truck that takes a lot longer to stop than my little tiny sports car. So I think he doesn't nearly run me a few times, or anymore after this. I think it was just those few times. Got a little squirrely on that landing again. This car does not like the bumps, and that's a liability when you're off-road. Also causes those back wheels to come up when it was already starting to oversteer, which means it's just going to pivot on that same point and continue coming around on you when the wheels are up in the air like that. So that's a little frustrating. Honestly, the climb up was easy. It was a joy. I enjoyed myself driving up. Driving down, not so much. I didn't really have a good time. This was a beautiful turn here, but other than that, the rest of it's just kind of... I'm holding on for most of the ride, really. It just wasn't... I didn't never feel like it was a car I could easily keep in control. Nearly got T-boned by Commander as he was creating his own route. I don't know what happened there. We are going to have a little mishap with the tree of mini crashes. It claimed a victim. It got the rear window. Again, bouncing all around, struggling to find just enough grip to keep the car going straight. But now that we're down on somewhat smoother, less dirt-filled roads, we're doing a little bit better. Fantastic little car to drive around, though, in the city. I have no complaints with this car, even if it's not the best off-roader, though I got a good time. But it's down for a controlled descent, 3 minutes 4 seconds, and got rear-ended by a pickup truck. So we're back up at the top about Chiliad. It's already damaged, thanks to Commander. And we're gonna fling it off and see what happens here. I think he lands on the, yeah, here, give me a little kick. This guy is gonna get beat up. Honestly, I'm surprised that we don't lose more body parts on this. Truthfully, by the time I finally got down, I thought for sure this thing was going to have lost every single body part, and you'll see why as we go down. I mean, that trunk was wide open in the air. Normally those things rip right off when that happens, but nope, not this time. Instead, it's just kind of hanging out there. It comes open, I think, a couple more times, too. It's not like it's, ow, there. That was the big hit I was talking about. Did you see how much my health took down there? I had full health immediately, I did believe. Yeah, that took a little chunk of my health off, and it also damaged the front end, which, for a car that doesn't have damage models, kind of impressive that you can damage it. And you'll see that the front right is collapsed a bit. Of course, that bumper's barely hanging on. Again, how did it not fall off? I don't know how the trunk isn't gone. I don't know how the bumper's not gone. And I don't know how that left door is not gone. Why did the hood fall off there instead of the bumper? Who knows, but we're down 1 minute, 21 seconds. Made a habanero freak out for a moment. Let's take a look at our damage. Most of the windows gone. All the lights gone. The hood gone. Bumper is damaged. The doors won't close. The trunk won't close. It has bent wheels, and there is body damage. We'll take a look at Commander's Vapid Contender real quick. Kind of beat to hell. But that's going to do it for this Will It Off-Road. Don't forget to go vote for the vehicles that you want to see featured in upcoming Will It Off-Road videos by clicking on the link in the description down below. And don't forget to go tell my buddy, Not Credit Rocket, happy birthday. Until next time, I'm Brandon, reminding you to stay vainglorious.